Will you help create a government for tomorrow and provide your city with the youth opinion when they need it most? Okay. Hi, my name is Liam Dreyer. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Government for Tomorrow. It's a nonprofit organization with the mission of helping cities and schools create student positions on local government boards. And this is our third annual report / feature. And this is our first one, and this is last year's, and this is our third. And you'll notice the difference being that it's a video. We're trying to do a better job communicating with donors and prospective cities and anyone interested in Government for Tomorrow and our processes. The first thing you should know about Government for Tomorrow is that we're based on a 3-step process. The first step being working with and answering any questions of those prospective cities about what it means to take that leap of faith towards student representation. The second step is communicating with students, explaining why they should apply for these positions and why they themselves should take that leap of faith toward contributing to their community. This is where we've made a huge breakthrough in Government for Tomorrow. Our selections committee has reviewed applications and conducted interviews for 11 positions spanning across the state of Michigan, a majority of which now have appointed students and are actively participating in their local government and giving back to their community. 5 of those positions are a part of our reselections program, which we launched last year, where student positions that we had appointed students to now are going to have students going on forward. So once a student leaves or graduates, we then step in and help another student assume that position. Our third step of the process is working with the students once they've been appointed, training them in things like Robert's Rules of Order, basic parliamentary procedure, communicating with adults, and being effective pollers of their peers. Government for Tomorrow works with communities ranging from as north as Sault Ste. Marie and as south as Kalamazoo. We work with communities that have just a few thousand in populace, like Boyne City or Vassar, and as large as pushing maybe 70,000 like in Kalamazoo. We present in classrooms with maybe 300 to 400 in the student body, and we present in schools with maybe 2,000 or around 2,000 in their student body. Our organization is incredibly diverse, and we constantly work to tailor our processes to whatever community we, look at the time. Actually, I have to present in a community in just a second here, but I can take you with me and I can show you what it means to present to a local government board. And so, yeah, let's get to it. All right, we are in Hastings, Michigan right now. I'm about to go present to their city council, and it just so happened to line up during the timing of the annual report video. So here we are, technically it is 2024, but this is the result of conversations that happened in 2023, and it's an opportunity to see what Government for Tomorrow is like in action at city councils. So yeah, let's go to that meeting. My name is Liam Dreyer. Also, to maximize how much the student gets out of the relationship is cyclical. It keeps going. I've been hammering the idea that this is an asset for the city. That's a great question. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. All right, that was pretty nice. Got a general consensus. Seems like their planning commission and DDA might collaborate, partner, hopefully. We'll see. And then we'll move into schools in the coming months. But first, we're actually close enough to a partner downstate that we can go visit Kalamazoo, which is our biggest community that we work with and a huge asset of Government for Tomorrow, which we presented in schools with in 2023. So let's back out of 2024 and go there. All right, here we are in Kalamazoo, Michigan, the biggest partner of Government for Tomorrow in terms of population size. And we are outside Bronson Park here. And the Parks and Recreation is the board to partner with us in Kalamazoo. We went into Kalamazoo classrooms and presented to many students, which is a product of a bigger city, the ideals of local government involvement and why it's a good idea to serve your community and how much of an impact they can make in the Parks and Recreation. So we had our selections committee review applications and conduct interviews, and we found a student who embodies the qualities we have found to be successful in Government for Tomorrow student members. And we are currently in the process of appointing and training this student so that they can be a successful asset to Kalamazoo. Okay, that was a fun field trip, but now we're going to transition to virtual features and stats and things like that. Most of my work is actually done from this desk or on this computer because we're across the state of Michigan and it's a bit tricky for me to travel to all these communities. So let's jump into that. Okay, hi, we're now virtual. Next up, we have an interview between Madeline George, myself, and Sean Winter. Madeline George was appointed this year to the Traverse City Planning Commission as a student liaison. She's actually the second ever student to serve in that position, and she's a part of the reselections program, of which there were 5 positions that this year the selections committee reviewed for that next up student after other students left or graduated, and she's one of them. And Sean Winter is the planning director of Traverse City, and both he and Madeline will speak to what exactly the student position has meant for the community of Traverse City.
Well, I would say the impact has been impressive. I know that we typically have a older demographic serving on our planning commission and many of our boards for that matter. So it's been refreshing to have a more youthful perspective brought to the table. And I know I've heard from the other planning commissioners how much they value that, especially when we consider the role of the planning commission. I think our chair currently does a good job of kind of explaining our role. Like, we're planning for the future. And so the youth are the people that we're trying to plan for. So to have them part of the conversation is completely invaluable. Like there's no way we can escape that if we really take our work seriously. Now, the transition from our previous student liaison to our current one has been seamless. And that's all credit due to Government for Tomorrow, for the way that you guys handle that, interface with staff. I think there may have been some hesitancy if this would have been proposed as another staff task that we had to go through and seek out. But the fact that the organization handled it for us, and now our 2-0, we're coming up with just excellent candidates. It just helps reinforce the positive impact of student involvement.
Well, that is great to hear. That is the goal. And it sounds like that is being thoroughly accomplished on the Traverse City Planning Commission. And hopefully this will continue to perpetuate through the board for years to come. Is there anything else that either of you would like to add?
I'll build off what Madeline had said when she's kind of talked with Ted. They have had very different experiences so far. Madeline came on in a unique time where we had some resignations, and due to political reasons, the previous commission didn't want to appoint people. So we kind of idled down and things got slow. But now things are going to start ramping up again. And it'll be interesting because what Ted dealt with during his year on the planning commission is going to be completely different than what Madeline's going to be dealing with, where he was dealing a lot with housing. Madeline now has the privilege of helping review and approve a new community master plan and mobility action plan. So I think it's neat that each student has a different experience, and the fact that Government for Tomorrow kind of puts them in touch with one another so they can talk and share what's similar, what's different with those different environments.
That's great to hear. Yeah, part of being a student member is being able to be flexible with the changing times of the community and the political climate. So it is fascinating to hear about the different experiences of students just separated by a year.
Yeah, a lot can change in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I've been putting in work for it, which not that I didn't anticipate how much work it would be, but I think it's good because it's teaching me all these I have to research everything, and I have to go back and I have to look at people's opinions and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been good, and it's been good being on the board, hearing all this discourse and stuff. I mean, I think Government for Tomorrow is such a great organization for doing this. When I heard about this, I didn't even really believe it, that there would be an opening on an actual governmental board. And I think it's so great, the opportunities that it provides. And I think it's really inspiring and invigorating for people who are able to see this and say, oh, if you're a youth, you're able to be in these positions. And I think it's a really great opportunity.
That's really great to hear. Yeah.
The one thing I would add to that, based on what Madeline was saying, is I think through her involvement and the others on board, on the various boards, the students, to me, and this is just my impression, it helps signal to other students like, hey, your voice does matter. You are part of this conversation. You know, where if you're just sitting there watching one, you're like, wait a minute, those people don't look like me. They don't talk like me.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, thank you both very much. I can't wait to hear about all of more great work you do on the board, Madeline. And yeah, have a good day and a rest of your term.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to transition to a more internal look of government for tomorrow. So with each new position that we help to create and each new student that we help to train onto one of these boards, the organization gets a little more intensive. It's just the nature of these positions that with each new one added, in terms of cumulative resources needed from government for tomorrow, it continues to increase. So that's why we've taken multiple initiatives to streamline the internals and overall processes of government for tomorrow. This means involving board of directors in more day-to-day activities, as well as looking to automate our training process and debuting our first ever video presentation to students as opposed to an in-person presentation in classrooms. All of these initiatives are meant to be able to expand government for tomorrow as efficiently and while remaining effective as possible. One staple of government for tomorrow, however, that we did not abridge in the slightest this year is our selections committee process. It is something we at Government for Tomorrow pride ourselves upon, the ability to break down and review holistically many applications for one position and make a high quality recommendation based off of someone we think will not only excel on the board but benefit themselves from the education that the board will give them. Our selections committee reviewed a record-breaking 61 applications this cycle, and now we have Dakota Baker here to explain what that process looks like. All right, well, joining me now is Dakota Baker, the chairman of the selections committee. How's it going, Dakota?
Oh, it's great, Liam. It's great. I'm really glad that you're putting this together in a different format than we have in previous years. I think it's going to be really exciting for everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully it's more engaging. So tell us about yourself and your role in Government for Tomorrow, Dakota.
Sure. Well, Liam, you know better than anyone, my role came from a direct ask from you back right before we got started a few years back. So, a little background about me. I work in government now. I work in the state government. I work for one of our state senators here in Michigan. But prior to that, I worked for a U.S. congressman, also representing Michigan. And then before that, for a state representative in the state of Michigan. So I've really worked in all levels of state government, except for the executive branch and some lobby corps things. And I've worked around in the federal level as well. I've been involved with local governments. I have a lot of experience with the boards that we promote to because of my life experience here. And I graduated from Lake Superior State University up here in Northern Michigan with a degree in political science, not intending to end up here in government actually at the time. But the chips just kind of fell as they did, and we ended up doing what we're doing, and I love it. So it's been a really great piece. And I joined Government for Tomorrow just because I got to know you, Liam, through some shared political interest that we were working on, some governmental things, and the connection was formed. You asked me to be a part of it. I thought your mission was just spot on, and it's certainly been excellent for the last 2 years now that we've been running.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Yeah. So you're on the selections committee. You're on the board of directors, but you're also on the selections committee. And I'm sure students as well as potential city partners would like to know, what do you look for in a student? Is there any one perfect student?
Sure. Well, I don't want to get into too much detail because some of our selection process is intended to be confidential, as you know. Making sure that no one has a leg up on anybody else. But we do have a really well-vetted process. And what we're really looking for, again, is somebody who is really taking the process seriously, recognizing that I was a student myself for a long time. I had a lot of other commitments and responsibilities. This is intended to be both a boon to the city government that the student will be serving on, or the local unit of government, and to the student themselves. So we're we're really looking for somebody who is taking it seriously, is taking, other areas of their life seriously as well. And not that it's not right to go and have fun and enjoy your teenage years, your youth, the time you're spending with family and friends. But we want to see somebody who is looking to really get something out of the process for their lives. Somebody who has an idea of what they want to do. And serving in government is a very unique niche that requires, in my opinion, a fairly unique individual. So not that we've had nothing but really great candidates through the committee in this past 2 years. So everybody that's applied, I mean, I can't say I've had a candidate so far even that's been a disappointment in any way. So again, to say what we're looking for in kind of one word, we're looking for a young professional that's really truly interested in the position, for more than just the title or the opportunity.
Yeah. And I'm sure that advice will be helpful. So what is your favorite part about Government for Tomorrow work?
Well, I think it definitely is going to tie right on back to that unique student. So I was interested in government from a young age personally. I attended Boise State when I was in high school and got involved in some, governmental exercises there, learning how our state government works and operates, and ended up in politics in school, studying politics. It's really cool to see young people stand up to, make a name for themselves and to represent their communities in a way that typically with our organization's involvement hasn't been done before. So, the perspectives are just so important, and everybody in all stages of life gets new perspectives, develops their experiences, and having a fresh take that's been, unburdened by some of that life experience that might gild your perspective a little bit is really exciting to see. I just really love the energy and the enthusiasm that all of the interviewees bring to the table. So just getting to know our students and our prospective government members is just really awesome. It's my favorite part for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So let's say I'm a rising high schooler, and I see in my community some Government for Tomorrow student members. A big part of our organization is the reselections process. So how can I best prime myself if I want to join one of these boards in my future, if I want to be a part of Government for Tomorrow and I'm thinking about applying?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess advice to a student looking to do something like that, you're going to want to really stay involved. You want to kind of start engaging in your community. That's a really important thing, because government work is service. I mean, in a lot of it, it's paid service, but it's really a service-based industry. The work you're doing is for your voters, your constituents, the people that put you there. So you have a really big responsibility to, be involved, to know them, to know their wants, their needs, what they're looking for. And that's exactly the role of the student that we're looking to select. So we want somebody who's really taken it, upon themselves to, number one, stay professional and take your education seriously, because that is really important. But number two, to engage in those various aspects of your community so that you really bring those perspectives to the board. We don't want somebody coming in who doesn't necessarily have any connection to the community and only has the value of their own perspective. Your job as a student member is to bring the perspectives of various circles of young people to the boards. Somebody who's been involved, who's been engaged in their community and with their peers.
Well, that sounds like good advice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Dakota. Your service to Government for Tomorrow and all of these communities is, of course, very much appreciated, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Excellent. Well, hey, as do I. We've got an exciting year ahead of us coming into 2024 and year number 3.
It'll be great. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Liam.
And that is Government for Tomorrow. This is our 3rd year, and it's the nonprofit that I poured countless of hours into, something that has changed me and what I think has changed the state of Michigan. This is my beautifully drawn Michigan, and we're in Alpena, Traverse City, Saginaw, Sault Ste. Marie, across the state. Our mission, though, is to expand to every corner of Michigan and maybe in the next year, we have some prospects that could expand beyond that you might have heard of. But for now, let's just get to every student in Michigan who wants to be on a local government board. You can check out more about who we are at govfortomorrow.org, and I will see you in hopefully year 4.